Welcome back, McFly subscribers. So, this is what I'm going to be tying today. This is a fly called the Holy Grail, and I did a few changes to it, but pretty much it's that fly. It allows you to get a very large bead, and this is tungsten, so this will sink super quick. I know I didn't quite do it full justice. Alright, so place your hook securely in your vise, and the hook I'm using today is Risen's 2457, size 12. Basically, you just want any round hook, okay, that is rather strong. I mean, a good strong hook is good. This is 2x heavy. A wide gap will help if you want to do a pretty enlarged bead, so this is 2x wide. So that's something that you might want to look into as well. You can tie these in a couple different sizes. I mean, go ahead and tie smaller or larger, whatever you want to do. You just adjust the bead size with it. So this is a 3.8 millimeter. It's a huge bead for size 12, okay? And this is tungsten. This is also by Risen. These are awesome, by the way, for the price. The best way I've found to place a bead on the hook is to put the bead in your hand and bring the hook point to it. Next, we got Vivus Tenot in red. Okay, we're going to start the thread right in front of the bead there with it pulled back. You could also start it behind the bead. Either way will work. And then we're just going to cross over. So let me see if I can turn this so you guys can see it. I'm going to cross up over, but I want to make sure that the thread stays on the back here of the bead. And we want to leave... about a hook eye gap from the eye of the hook. Maybe slightly more than I've got. There we go. So now we're just gonna make a couple cross wraps on top as if we're tying in some bead chain eyes. There we go, that should lock it in. We're just gonna keep it right there like that. Make a couple wraps behind it here. Next, I just got Flashaboo here. This is like opalescent, but any color Flashaboo could work. Pearl, most of the pearl colors are going to be the best. Alright, so you want to bring this down. Next, you want some hare's ear dubbing. So I just got this that a subscriber actually had sent me. It was just a thing of a whole bunch of hare's ear dubbing, which was amazing. I actually use this quite often. I mean, there's a ton of dubbing in here. I don't know if I'll ever get through it all. So you just want to pull out some of the hare's ear. I like hare's ear because of the guard hairs. It's going to make it look even more buggy. You don't have to dub this on super tight. In fact, we're going to brush it out, so a loose dubbing noodle is just fine. But we will want to taper it, so as you're coming up, make sure that you're tying it in quite tapered. Always add more if you need. Camera gets in my way all the time. Now most of these I see are tied with red thread, but I'm sure you could tie this with brown or black or whatever. Make it your own. However you want to do it. Now we're just going to use the Flashaboo as a ribbing. So we're just going to start winding this on with open spiral wraps. Trying to keep these wraps looking even. Evenly spaced out. And basically this is just kind of a fancy hare's ear in a way. I really like it, and I like how this bead is hidden back. It's not right at the front. The bead becomes the thorax, which is quite interesting. We have a pheasant tail. We're just going to pull off maybe, I don't know what that is, 8, 9, somewhere on there, fibers. There we go. And then we are going to cut off the tips. We'll tie this in right on top. Okay, I'm going to turn this so I can look at it. I'm going to pull this all the way back, and I want to make sure that this is tied in right on top, directly on top. Make a couple tight wraps over it if you're just tying those tips in like that, because you want them to stay. All right, we're going to get another small pinch of that dubbing. One more wrap here right up by the head. Might have gotten too much there. It's okay. Can pull it right off, especially with this hare's ear dubbing. It's easy to take off. All right, so then we're just going to cross up over. Okay. I'm going to make sure that all that is in. We don't want it spread out too much. This pattern calls for a collar of this partridge. So all the way around. And you pull this up over. But I've tried that, and I honestly don't like how it comes out. I find it difficult, and let me show you. The fibers seem too long. It just, for me, it doesn't quite work out. You see how it's like the collar sticks out really far because the bead holds it out. So maybe I just haven't figured that out, but I find that if I'm just going to pull off all the fuzzy fibers on the bottom here, I'm going to take it put it in the palm of a finger, and I'm going to cut out the center. And I'm left with that. Then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to gather them up like this, all the pieces. I'm going to turn this upside down. I'm going to pinch it. Tie this in on the bottom. Make sure it's angled correctly. Make one more wrap, so a second wrap, and then we'll just pull this to the length that we're wanting. Got to make sure it's directly on top. There we go. That's about where I want it. Make 2 more wraps to lock it into place. And then I was using my fingernail to kind of separate these and fan it out a little bit more, and that'll look like legs. And then with this, we can pull this back, wrap back on top of it slightly. That'll make sure that won't move. Come in with some fine point scissors. Do not cut off your thread. And there's the legs. They're all set. And then we can pull this up over. Like so. Make sure and keep it directly on top. And I like fanning this out as well, making sure that we have a nice wide now my thread here. Alright, so that's fanned out. I'm going to wrap back just a couple wraps here. Okay, but not too far. One more. I'm going to pull this back and wrap back up on it. Make a couple more, and it's okay to build this head. In fact, it's part of the pattern. There's a red head there. We're going to cut this off as close as we possibly can. A couple wraps of thread up over it. Now we can whip finish the fly. And there's my version of the Holy Grail. Finally, I need to cement the head, and I really like this Solares Ultra Thin for this. We're going to paint a little over the whip finish. And right up over that wing casing. We'll cure it with the UV light. And there we go. And that's going to harden up that wing casing. This fiber is a little bit fragile, so this is going to kind of help. I mean, I don't think it's going to be perfect, but it will help for sure. So this is a super heavy fly with this extra weighted bead. There's enough hook gap here because I did get an extra, a wide gap hook for this. The way that these beads are hidden in there, I think it really looks good. It gives you the weight, but it kind of acts as part of the fly rather than just this bead on the front. So I think it's a nice look for sure. I don't know if it necessarily means that you catch more fish or the fish care, but maybe. You know, one other thing I want to mention is you could come through with like a brush carefully, but you could brush this out to really make it more buggy if you wanted. And there we go. Super buggy, as you can see. Could totally do that if you wanted. I like the look of that. I like buggy. I find fish like it too. But it can look like a caddis, probably mainly a caddis. However, with some different colors, you could probably mimic stonefly or, you know, whatever you need to. I'm sure it's pretty versatile in that sense. Well, thanks for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe and hit the like button. Also, hit that bell notification for future video updates. Check out my sponsor, Fly. Go to www.risenfly.com and they're offering you all a discount. So type in McFly at checkout and you'll get 15% off of your first order with them. I am sponsored by them, but that's not why I use their gear. These hooks, great hooks and super good price. I've never found anywhere online with as good a price for tungsten beads that are quality tungsten beads. I found a couple places that might be slightly less, not by much, like maybe 50 cents for a pack less. But half of the beads come out looking funky. They're, you know, and every single one of these come out perfect. If you look at them, they're all identical. There's just no issues. I've never had a problem with any of their beads. So definitely check them out. All the eyes are the same size. They're perfectly machined. However they make them, I don't know if they machine them or what, but really good quality. Also, check out their rods. They make some of the best rods and reels, I think, in the business for the price. I mean, they have one that's $119 after the discount comes out to about $100, and it's one of the best rods I've ever fished. For that price, unheard of. Really, really, really great stuff. So definitely check them out. Well, I will see you on the next video. Now you go catch some fish.